Urinal cakes are poisonous. They are. Urinal cakes are poisonous. They may call them cakes, like a birthday cake or something, but they're poisonous. So, isn't that false advertising? You know, really, let's think about it for a minute. Urinal cakes are poisonous. I know this because, wait a minute, let me turn off this fan here. It's making too much noise. There. They're poisonous, toxic, dangerous. I remember one time when I was in second grade. I think it was second grade. Maybe it was first. It was first or second grade. I think it was second grade. So this was about 1980. I remember one time how it was in grade school. I was sitting there in class, and the teacher was this old nun. That's right. She was this nun, and she was elderly. And she was lecturing the class. She was giving the class a lesson about something. And one of my classmates, and the thing is, that this classmate of mine was older than me, so he should have been old enough to know better. And one of my classmates, he was sitting like a couple desks over from me. And I noticed he had something stuck up his nose. He did. He had something stuck up his nose. It was only about the size of his nostril. I don't even remember which nostril it was, but it was only about the size of one of his nostrils. And it was stuck up his nose, like he had a big booger hanging out. And then the teacher, the old nun that was teaching the class said, she said, what is that you have? She asked him what it was that he had in his nose. She says, what is that in your nose? And then the kid said, it's part of the soap from the toilet. He said that. He said, it was part of the, he says, it's part of the soap that's in the toilet. What he meant was the urinal cake. That's right, he meant the urinal cake, because that's what it was. Except usually urinal cakes are pink or some other bright color. Pink or white, maybe sometimes yellow. But this one, it looked like it was like partly brown, like he had barbecued it or something. But it was only about this big, and it was stuck in his nose. And the old nun starts giving him a big lecture about it. What? You took that out of the bathroom and stuck it up your nose? And she says, that's poisonous. That is absolutely poisonous. She said that, and that's a direct quote too. That is absolutely poisonous. It's poisonous. It was. So she said that. She told the kid that because the kid had part of the urinal cake stuck up his nose. And the thing is, why did the kid break off part of the urinal cake and stick it up his nose anyway? I mean, it's probably had pee all over it and everything. Why would you stick something up your nose that's been peed on? I mean, what's wrong with people if they do something like that? It's been in the urinal that's been peed on many times. And he goes and he sticks it up his nose. And this kid was older than me too, so he was probably like maybe 8. So I guess I was maybe like 7, and he was probably like about 8. So he was old enough to be not to do stuff like that. He was old enough to know better. But anyway, and urinal cake. And I didn't even know it was called a urinal cake till I was like 15 or 16. I always called it just the soap that's in the toilet. That's what I always just called it. I mean, just like the kid in school, because that's what we all call it. We all call it that. The soap in the toilet. The soap from the toilet, or the soap that's always in the toilet, or the urinal. That's what I didn't even know that urinal cake was the proper term for it till I was like maybe 15 or 16, when somebody told me that that's what it was called. But Isn't it false advertising to call it a urinal cake? Because that makes it sound like it's something edible. It makes it sound like it's a good dessert or something, like a birthday cake or a graduation cake or something like that. Like you could go down to the bakery and say, "Hey, could you bake me a urinal cake for this birthday party that I've got coming up?" Yeah, that's what it's like. Like you go into a bakery and you see a big display case full of urinal cakes. I mean, what's next? Urinal cookies? What are they going to call it next? A urinal cookie? A urinal pie? Now if you're in a sitcom, that's one pie that you don't want to be hit with. Or a urinal ice cream, or urinal brownie, or a urinal pastry, or a urinal Pop-Tart, or a urinal sherbet. Hey Ernie, you want some sherbet? Sherbet? Just as long as it's not a urinal sherbet. Or urinal bubblegum, or urinal jelly beans, or urinal pudding, or urinal lemon squares, or urinal Christmas cookies, or anything like that. Urinal cake. Because that makes it sound like it's something that you can have like for dessert or something. A urinal cake, but it's poisonous. It is absolutely poisonous, said the old nun who was teaching that class. And I think it was in religion class, because this was at a Catholic school. And I think it was during religion class that this came up. Hey, I've got more email here. Oops. So that's the story of the urinal cake. And it's weird that they call it a cake anyway. And the thing is, I can never really figure out what urinal cakes do. Not every urinal has one, but I could never really figure out what they do. Do they just make the place smell better or something, like to cover up the pee smell? Because it's pretty much hopeless. You know, bathrooms are supposed to smell like pee, so isn't it pretty much hopeless?